us from the start, boss.
Yeah,
So let's tell us.
it's quite funny actually.
Tell me you're really good. That way I don't feel so bad when you kick my ass on the mat. Come on.
So I had no interest in martial arts growing up, other than watching movies.
Really?
Yeah, no interest at all. I was working at the Ford alloy wheel plant in Manukau there, and a few of the boys were on their days off. We worked 4 days on, 4 days off. We're doing some of this jiu-jitsu. Had no idea what it was.
What year is this?
Early 2000s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you really like wearing like wrestling gear? Like that Lycra stuff?
No, I bought a gi. It was
Okay.
oversized. It looks ridiculous. I could even send you a picture.
We need a photo.
Oh, yeah.
to
Send me a
pop up
picture.
on
Yeah,
there.
please.
Because I started in no gi, of course, because I didn't know what I was getting into. I've been a big fan of combat sports, though. I've watched kickboxing, boxing, and we were starting to watch MMA probably around 1999, and we had to download everything Pride, and they took ages to download, and the quality was crap. But I think for me, Vanderlei Silva was the guy who switched me on to MMA. I just thought that's a real fighter right there,
He was Pride days.
He was
Is it
Pride. What was his
days?
nickname?
Yeah.
Sledgehammer.
Ex-murderer.
Ex-murderer. That's it.
Anyway,
Where'd you get
these-
Sledgehammer from?
Well,
Sledgehammer.
yeah.
I was close.
Yeah, I was close.
Ex-murderer.
That's pretty close.
So these guys are going to
Screwdriver.
do this bloody jiu-jitsu out in West Auckland at Don Oliver gym, because Steve Oliver was the guy who was bringing jiu-jitsu back here. He went over and he was training with Hickson. So he spent a lot of time offshore, but his right-hand man, Seth, was my first jiu-jitsu coach. I learned a rear naked choke on my first day.
Hey.
And I was sold on it from there. But before the class even started, I got there before everyone else. They convinced me. They hassled me for weeks before I said, "Oh yeah, I'll come." I turn up there. I go up the stairs. They give me all these directions. I go, "Oh yeah, I think I'm in the right place." So I open the door, and standing in there was Steve Oliver, huge at the time, he was an ex-powerlifter, screaming at Mark Hunt.
Oh, yeah?
Mark Hunt was shadowboxing and he was screaming at him, "Sprawl!" And I started closing the door, going, "Holy, that's K1 World Grand Prix champion Mark Hunt."
So you actually knew who Mark Hunt was before you opened that door?
Oh, so Mark Hunt, yeah, I knew who he was
knew
because
him.
he's from our neighborhood,
Right,
so I've
right.
been following him his whole journey.
Right.
Yeah, and I was just like, whoa, nah. I tried to take off, and one of the boys stand up and said, no, don't worry, our class is not going to be like that. I was like, man, I hope not. But yeah, and Seth, most gentle guy, he at the time, I think he may have been a blue belt, or possibly even white. It was so early days.
Wow.
There was back then. I don't think there were any black belts around. The only one I knew was Douglas Santos.
So what is Steve like? What is he?
He at that time, I think Steve barely was purple.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Like even I remember when he got his brown belt and he went over to World Champs and came back with a gold medal. I just felt like that was like Brazil coming here and beating us at rugby. Like I was so impressed. I just thought, man, and I think he was one of the biggest pioneers of jiu-jitsu.
Oh yeah.
He spent a lot of time offshore,
for sure.
investing, sleeping on couches, wherever he could get his training in under Hickson. I think he got his blue belt under Hickson, which is astounding. That's a legend, Hickson Gracie's an absolute legend.
Yeah.
So I was really, really privileged to come across that jiu-jitsu. And I mean, we couldn't train properly. We were 4 days on, 4 days off, so we might get 2 trainings in a week. But yeah, that's where it all started.
Was Mark Hunt part of your class, or he'd go off and do something else?
No, he was there camping
right.
for Pride.
Right, okay.
Which I was just, my mind was blown because I love Mark. I grew up watching Mark.
Right.
David Tua, Mark Hunt, these guys that just live stone throw away from where I grew up,
Yeah,
so
yeah. Good idols to have.
Oh man, absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
So you start training there. You're starting to get some stripes through that club.
Nah, back then, mate, there was
No
no,
stripes?
stripes. There was no stripes. I stayed a white belt for 10 years.
Oh yes.
Yeah. And I got my blue belt in 2013 at a seminar with Bruno Alves, who was at the time a Gracie Barra black belt.
It would have been in what, Australia, or did he come here?
He came here. He
okay,
came here.
yeah.
But we took trips over to Australia to Gracie Barra over there. Marcelo still runs that to this day. And that was actually the first black belt match I'd seen in New Zealand. Marcelo came here to take on Douglas, but Douglas put up one of his other black belts, and it was amazing, man. Like, the level was just amazing. I felt like Marcelo toyed with him, and he's calling out in Portuguese to his corner how much time left, and he said 30 seconds and just armbarred him at will. Like, it was insane. It was crazy. And that was our grading black belt, so it was pretty cool to see. And I think that was the first ever black belt match in New Zealand.
Oh wow.
And
There's
that
some
was
history.
held at the AUT on Simon Street.
Yeah. Weren't the competitions there at AUT
Yeah,
like back in the day?
Yeah, my first competition was at Balmoral War Memorial Hall.
Jeez.
And I think there was about 3 mats.
Yeah.
And everybody had a white gi with no patches, you know. It was, and I think back then the guys who were doing well were from rugby and league backgrounds, you know. They were just strong, happy with the contact, you know, already conditioned to contact.
Was this no gi or?
Gi.
Yeah, gi.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Plus my gi was way too big. You live and you learn. But yeah, no striping system. Got my blue belt in 2013, and I asked Steve if I could open up a branch of Oliver out here to make it easier to get to training, and so we could get more classes in. So I did that. We just started training at Alan Brewster Recreation Centre, similar to what you were doing at Te Puru. Oh, exactly the same.
Yeah.
Just some puzzle board mats. Had to set up class, you know, every day, only 2 days a week until we got some traction.
Yeah.
And then I leased out that space, and that gym's been open for 10 years.
Yeah.